I love it when it rains. I love the smell, and I really love how much it helps my garden grow. But have you ever actually wondered how much it's rained in your yard? We often hear that it's rained 5 mil in Bairnsdale or Omeo, but it's actually really important to know how much rain's coming in your yard for your plants. I'm Chris, and I'm the Education Officer at E6 Land Water. And today, while it's raining, I think that we should make our very own rain gauge. They're really easy to make with bits and bobs that you have around the house. So let's go.
So now that we're all inside and warm, it's time to make our rain gauge. Today we're going to be using a glass jar. Now you can use a plastic bottle, really anything with straight sides that's clear so you can see through it. So you can measure where the water is, so you can see how much water is in the jar. I prefer to use a glass jar just because they're really easy to find at any op shop, they're cheap, and I have heaps of these at home. So one glass jar, we're going to need 2 kinds of tape. You're going to need normal tape and masking tape. And then we're going to need a funnel. This funnel needs to be able to fit in your jar without the funnel actually touching the bottom of the jar. You'll need some scissors, and remember these are sharp, so do get your parents' help if you need it, and to ask them for help. Next thing you'll need is a ruler. This ruler needs to have millimeters on it, so we can mark out our measurements. And the last thing we'll need is a permanent marker. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take off the lid to our jar, put the lid to the side, we don't really need that anymore. Next, we are going to get our masking tape and just put a bit of tape on our jar from the top to the bottom. Don't have to cover the jar, just one strip will do. Now do be careful when you're using scissors. If you need help, just ask an adult. Just going to take this from the top of my jar all the way down to the bottom. Doesn't have to be very neat. There we go. Now that tape's on the jar, next thing we're going to do is get our ruler and put the bottom of the ruler on the bottom of the jar. Very simple. And measure all the way up your jar. Yeah? Then we're going to grab a permanent marker. This might be tricky, so don't hesitate to call an adult. And we're going to mark at 5 millimeter increments. Put a dot there. And then we're going to do one at 10, one at 20, one at 25, and so on, all the way to the top of the jar. Well done. So now we're going to mark what those increments were. I'll start on my second one, which says 10 millimeters. Then we're going to go, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, all the way up to the top of the jar. Well then, and now that's done, the next thing we're going to do is going to put these to the side and grab our normal tape. Okay? If you're worried about your masking tape coming off, you can put a strip of clear tape over the top just to hold it on. But that's optional, you don't have to do that bit. I just don't trust my masking tape. Next we're going to do is grab our funnel and pop it in our jar. Now, I'm worried that the wind, because it is very windy today, will knock my funnel out. So I'm going to tape my funnel to my jar. Now that our rain gauge is all ready to go, let's go outside and test it.
water's in there. And look, there's a fair amount in there. We can measure our rain gauge by looking at how much water's in the jar and comparing that to our scale on the side here. So I've caught way less than 1 millimeter, but it's still raining. So I'm going to stick it back out there and see how much I collect over this entire rainstorm. So if you guys want to make your own rain gauge, it's really easy and it's recyclable too. If you make your own, send them through to us at East Gippsland Water. We'd love to see them, or tag us in your social media posts. Have a great day and enjoy National Water Week, guys!